Could you tell us about the border issues for the Anishnaabe people and Métis of Sault Ste. Marie area?
Well, there's a man by the name of Lord Selkirk, this colonist. He tried to settle people down near Walpole Island, and he tried to settle people in Winnipeg. He described the international border running through the upper lakes, particularly that at Sault Ste. Marie, as a line established by fools. Because what it does is this border, when it's initially put in 1783, doesn't really matter, right? The border doesn't really matter until the 19th century, and then it starts to matter more and more as that century goes on. It really matters a lot since 9/11. And for the Anishnaabe, what it's meant is that our relatives and relations in the Sioux tribe and Bay Mills are becoming more and more distant. At one time, people from Garden River regularly married into the Sioux tribe, right? Like some of my ancestors are Paymonts. There's a lot of Paymonts in the American side. If you look into if you're from Garden or Batchewana and you look into your relatives, you'll find a lot of American Indians in your family trees. And what it is they're not American Indians, they're Anishnaabe. We regularly married, right? Because you don't keep marrying inside the same community, right? That gives you extra toes and things. Or you all end up looking the same. I'll just refrain at that point. And what happens is, there's other problems that crop up, but we used to marry all the time. So we were very familiar with each other's communities. And I remember when we were doing the Hiawatha play at Garden in 2008, as I ran into actually relatives of mine from Sioux, Michigan. They crossed the river to see the play because they remembered some of their relatives being in it, so they thought they'd come see what Garden River was doing. And they got lost. Now you think, band office, Garden River, Highway 17, how'd you get lost? But they drove right by it, and then back again. And then they were talking to me about how they felt like they were foreigners here and didn't fit and everything else, but they are Sioux tribe band members. It's just that they hadn't ever crossed the river before to come to the community, so they had no idea where, what was in the community, what the reception would be, and there was this oddness to it. And people from Garden River I've talked to, some people experience that same oddness on the Sioux tribe community because they don't, they know there's the relations there, but there's not the familiarity, and that's what the border has done to us. There's this Anishnaabe Joint Commission that with the chiefs and politically, all that sort of thing that goes on. Our people, we try to go to the powwows and try to share and deal that. Our people work on either side of the river. Well, American side, they don't really work on our side because our government won't let them. But there is this increasing oddness between the two. And that's what the border has done for us. Never mind our rights about crossing, our hunting and fishing rights, our rights in the treaties. It's splitting our communities, and you see this in the sense, this feeling of oddness or otherness when you're in the other's territory and you're visiting your relatives. You shouldn't have that feeling.